Greg, you had a chance to watch the film and all. Anything else you could tell us from Saturday?
Yeah, that seems so long ago, right? We've done so much since then, but yeah, let me think here a little bit. I think we're getting better on the front. I mean, it's by inches, but we're getting better. That's just going to have to be a steady climb the entire season for us to be effective in our schedule. I thought before Chris Long got bumped, he did some really good things. The quarterback deal, they all made some plays, and then they all made some things they wish they could have back. So, it leaves us in this block again, guys competing for the job. So, which is okay. That's fine. We have right now. We're in the dog days of camp, right? Where you can't see where you started that daylight, and you can't see the daylight at the end. So right now it's about building mental toughness and building cumulative reps. That's what we're going to do.
Well, in that similar vein, in those days since the first day of camp, where have you guys seen the most progress, and what are some areas? It's a similar question, but just where do you want to go for the next half of camp going into the game?
Well, as I told you, the entire season is going to have to be an O-line progression, but we are progressing, so that's good. I think we have depth at the wide receiver position. It's just competition. We generally play 3 at a time. So who are going to be the first 3, and then who are going to be the next 3 that sub in for them. Same thing on the O-line. Who are going to be the first 5, and then who are going to be the 3 that sub in for them. Defensively, the young linebacker crew is coming along. Young. Dion isn't young chronologically, but he's young playing. But he's doing a good job. With the exception of one play, I thought he really had a pretty good scrimmage. Secondary's playing pretty well. They had some contested balls, and they didn't make the play on the contested balls, but that'll come. I judge it. Are you in the right place? And do you have your vision in the right place? Eyes are everything back there. If you have your eyes in the right place, your ability will take over.
Have you seen any changes defensively with Coach Harasimiak? Have you seen that unit coming along maybe faster than the offense so far?
Oh, I don't know. Everybody wants to say slower, faster. I do see some real positive changes. And the biggest one is the connection that the defensive staff has with the players. I mean, they're playing and coaching for one another. It's really fun to watch. But I don't know how far ahead or behind. They made some plays, they give up some plays. So right now this is a tough week right here. This week's a tough one.
What are your expectations for Kes Abraham as he kind of takes the next step after the strides he made last year?
Yeah, he did make strides. He's going to be part of the rotation at corner. What we love to do is rotate guys and keep them fresh, right? Because what do you do in the whole game? Unless you're playing some zone defenses like we do at times, you're chasing people all over the field, really fast guys. So we like to rotate, but if you don't have that depth, you can't. Right now we do. It's a blessing. So we're gonna roll guys, and when Kes is in there, he plays with great energy, great focus. He's a very physical guy. He brings something to our defense for the spirit of our defense.
We haven't asked about tight ends much during camp. What have you seen out of that group so far?
Well, they're a good group. We've been a little bumped at times, right? So this guy practices one day and then he doesn't practice the next day. That makes it feel kind of disjointed. I look forward to when we get the whole crew going together again. But what that's allowed is it's allowed some young guys, like Mike Higgins, like a Victor Konopka, to get more reps than they maybe would have gotten otherwise. It was good. There's a silver lining there.
Second year for Efine on the D-line. What's your expectations for him this year?
Well, number one, it's been great to have him in camp. If you remember, he missed all of camp last year. So I think that's going to serve him really well. I don't think Efine really got to play in his level of football until mid-season. I'm hoping that he enters the season right, at that level and then just goes like this. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
What have you seen from Wesley Bailey so far this camp, and what do you see his role being this season?
Yeah, Wesley has stepped up. I mean, you've seen him physically, right? He looks like a different guy. He's 250-something pounds. He looks like a Big Ten end. And he's playing really, really hard, and he's playing really well. So we need him to play that way.
On the defensive line, you've mentioned wanting to roll in a lot of guys. Just do you have an idea of distribution of snaps? Are some guys going to have a snap limit? Just what is that rotation on the defensive line?
Did you say on the defensive or
the
offensive?
Defensive line. The
defensive, yeah. Well, we'll have our first 4, and they'll go out there to start the game, unless we start in a 3-man front. But basically, we're thinking of 4 guys, and then Coach Watson will substitute guys throughout the game. He just brings them in and out. We feel really good with, heck, I'd say 10 guys probably. Like, we feel like they know it. They go in there. You may lose a little something here, but you get a little something here. So we're going to roll a lot of guys, and I really do. I leave that up to Coach Watson. Number one, he has a plan for the whole game to make sure that in the fourth quarter we can rush the passer, or in the fourth quarter we can stop the run and get the ball back, whichever way the game's going, right? So we try to have the D-line fresh by rotating them throughout the game. It's harder to play when you rush the passer. It's harder to rush the passer than it is to protect the passer as far as your conditioning and your wind.
I think before the spring even, we talked about the overall competitiveness of the program and how it was rising, and it was the highest level it had been since you came back. How is that kind of manifesting itself now in camp, and what are you seeing out on the practice field?
Today was, I just got done telling the team, today was like a heavyweight fight. They caught some right on a kisser, and they got stunned, and then they settled down, came back and punched the other guy. And that's the way, when you have a team that's on the rise, that's what practice looks like. It's not one-sided, lopsided, or the other. It's back and forth.